Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Is it possible that you could be sued over giving away a free hamburger? Yeah, it really did happen. So I know it seems absolutely ridiculous that something like this, I mean, how innocent is it to give away a free McDonald's hamburger and then to be sued over it? Well, let me explain. Okay, so full disclosure, I was chair of the Police Services Board for several years, and I'm still a member of the Police Services Board. Everything that I'm sharing with you is from public sources. In fact, I'm drawing most of this from an article that Chris Haliday wrote in February. So it's all public, it's all out there, and a lot of it I'm going to read from his article. And if you want to see his article, the link to it is down below. Okay, so I'm just going to interrupt this for just a quick minute and have a fast interview to do with MyFM. Hey Tommy. Okay, that was Tommy West from MyFM. Great guy. And if you want to watch MyFM, or listen, you want to listen to MyFM and you're not in the Orangeville area, there are links below that tell you how to get it on the web. So how did this little thing cause so much trouble? And what is all the controversy? So this all happened when Darren John was arrested and was awaiting a court appearance. He was in jail for about 3 days. So Darren John identified himself as a black individual who was Muslim. So John was offered this hamburger and took exception to it because it wasn't halal. He took it to the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario with S.E. Koji presiding. So I'll just walk you through what happened. And again, a lot of this I'm reading from Chris Haliday's article. How you doing? Pretty good. Spring's finally here. I don't want to jinx it. You too. So during the hearing, the tribunal heard that the Orangeville Police Service, or I'll refer to them as the OPS, was advised of John's requirement to abide to a halal diet. On July 7th, his first day in custody, John was offered a McDonald's hamburger. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole discussion of halal food and what I personally think about it. It doesn't make any sense to me. From my background and how I was raised, I just don't really get it. I don't mean offense to anyone in the Muslim community. I'm sure it's very important to them. I would hope that my understanding and respect of how they feel is also shared with their respect on my own feelings. I don't feel that it's that big a deal, but hey, I certainly respect those who do feel it is important. And over 16% of all the food produced in the world is produced as halal food. So this is a big deal to many people, and I don't mean to belittle it at all. It's not for me, but it is for some, and that's all that I'm going to say on that. So Darren John, which the tribunal identified as a black man who identifies as Muslim, was held in OPS custody for 3 days in July 2016 as he awaited appearances at the county courthouse related to a criminal charge. During the hearing, the tribunal heard the Orangeville Police Service, OPS, was advised of John's requirement to abide to a halal diet. On July 7th, his first day in custody, John was offered a McDonald's hamburger. Similar to this, not this exact one, but similar. In his complaint, John alleged he was told the burger was his only meal option. The notes of the OPS officer who booked him into lockup at the courthouse on July 7th indicated John refused food because he was not hungry. So from the court transcripts, John was alleged to have said, "I advised them of my diet and that I only eat meat prepared in a certain fashion. They, knowing this, offered me a McDonald's hamburger. I was faced with either eating it or starving." Now, John declined the burger, as well as the salad, because he felt the salad didn't constitute a meal. He was offered a salad on day 3. Now, before the tribunal, John argued that OPS should have provided him with a meal that included halal meat and modified the meal to suit his religious needs. He also submitted it was not fair or reasonable to only offer him a salad, as it is not sufficient to sustain life. OPS Constable Trevor Little was responsible for booking prisoners at the courthouse on July 7th, 8th, and 11th of 2016, and he testified meal options available to prisoners include a salad with egg, a veggie wrap, or a McDonald's hamburger heated up on site. OPS argued before the tribunal that 2 of those options, a salad with no egg or a veggie wrap, met John's halal dietary needs. OPS also submitted that while the applicant may take issue with the size of the meal, all prisoners are offered small lunches. The applicant did not provide me with any evidence to suggest that he requires a lunch that contains halal meat, as compared to one with no halal meat but that is otherwise halal, in order to meet his creed-related dietary restrictions, Koji wrote in her decision. So in other words, he may not have been given a halal meat sandwich or whatever, but he was offered choices that certainly did meet within the halal restrictions. Koji also noted that John didn't complain to OPS or duty counsel about the way he was being treated during his time at the courthouse. It would have made sense to do so, she explained. She continued in her written submission that the applicant was offered halal meal. While the meal may not be to his liking, the applicant did not provide me with any evidence that could support his position, she added. His submissions were focused not on whether OPS provided him a halal meal, but on the nature of the meal that was offered. In other words, beggars can't be choosers. You're in jail. I mean, what do you expect? John, who was self-represented at the tribunal, also alleged that Little made discriminatory comments when he was being escorted to court on July 7th. He claimed to have been told OPS didn't have time to modify people's food who are OCD about stupid stuff. There's a problem with that, though, because it couldn't have happened. So as Koji writes in her decision, this leads to the conclusion that Officer Little did not make the comments attributed to him. Koji ruled, "I am not satisfied that the applicant has met his burden of proving his discrimination allegations on a balance of probabilities." So that's really just a fancy way of saying that his case, like the hamburger, was thrown out. So a huge shout out to Chris Haliday at the Orangeville Banner for writing that article and bringing it to light. It's really astounding. I mean, on the surface of it, yeah, we offered him a hamburger and he took us to court. It's pretty crazy, but that's the world we live in, right? See you on the next one.
Yeah, you